Welcome to Yellow Brick Road. I'm Jordan. This is James. And tonight we're going to do a video on Bernie Sanders, old school Bernie Sanders, and his, statements on South America when there was less people watching, of course. But first, please consider donating to Devon's Journey to Recovery. The link is in the description box, and the website is in the intro to this video. Slow it down there. Please donate. Devon's Journey to Recovery. GoFundMe link is down there. It's for charity. It's not for us. We're not going to Steven Crowder you. You don't have to buy a mug. Just donate so someone can help pay medical bills. Devon's Journey to Recovery. Link down there. All right. So you told me about this video clip. You sent me an Instagram video. And it was this kid asking me a particular question to Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
What was it, in the 90s or something?
I believe it was 92, 93.
92, 93. Okay. Fuck. There we go. Alright, so instead of trying to explain the context, we'll just fucking play it for you. I should have had all this prepared already. Whatever. Okay, so this is Bernie Sanders answering a particular question in the 90s.
You said that you support the rights of the working class. Why do you believe that the United States so violently tries to overthrow other forms of government, such as socialist governments, such as what happened in Chile in 1973 and in Cuba? Why is the United States responding with such moneyed interest?
Good. Excellent question. Everyone hear the question? Okay. If you look, and not enough people do, and that gets me into a whole other issue, which is the media, which I want to talk about, because I'm very concerned about the media today and the degree to which a few corporations control what we see, hear, and read. But if you check American history, sometimes the president will tell you, well, we're always defenders of freedom. We believe in freedom. But if you check history, what you will find is that in many years, especially in Latin America, which way back from when President Monroe developed his Monroe Doctrine, we have the right to own Latin America, and we will tell any government there what we want to happen. That's the simple truth. So throughout our history, we have overthrown many, many governments. We didn't like their form of government. In the case of Chile, in 1973, what you had is an election in which a guy named Salvador Allende won the election. Problem is, Nixon and his friends didn't like him. Why? Because Salvador Allende fought for the poor people and the working people of that country. He believed that the resources of Chile, their copper mines and so forth, should belong to the people. And he won a free election. No one denied that for a second. It was a tough election. Didn't win by much, but he won a free election. There was another election. His party got more support. He was overthrown by the CIA and corporate interest, because corporate interest preferred, of course, that the United States companies dominate that country. And a lot of what politics is about, going way, way back to the 19th century, to England, France, is the domination of colonies so that big companies in a given country can take the resources of those countries for their own use. So I think that's what happened, and it was a very unfortunate day in American history. Allende won in a democratic election, was popular, was overthrown, and eventually killed. And in his place, a guy named General Pinochet took place, ran that country with an iron fist, killed many, many people, but he was okay. He was a good guy. Why? Because he was a friend of corporate America. But
Whatever. It's his Iron Man powers. It's coming out of his chest, the little beam of light thing. Anyways, so very interesting. I'm curious why I've never heard this before.
I'm curious why I just saw it on Instagram Live or TV. Instagram TV, it's Instagram TV. That's what they called it. I found it on there. I'm like, Very interesting why I don't hear him saying this today or often.
I could see why he doesn't do it.
Well, you explained it to me, but it's still interesting. And
He's
it's also interesting how I never really heard of what happened specifically with Chile, but I heard what happened to fucking Panama, Salvador.
Is that a name, or you're saying a country?
El
Salvador?
El Salvador.
Okay.
And so on and so forth. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Bernie did not just...
It's like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. I mean, he brought Chile, but he didn't...
Iran as well.
but he's bringing up, almost all of South America and what Western countries have done in the past, talking about colonizing, then exporting their most prominent resource for their own profit.
But if you look at South America, though, it's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
Seemingly, it's like, oh
Yeah.
my God, this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. Jesus Christ.
So my look at this is that there are pros and cons here with Bernie Sanders here. The pros is that he even knows about this, that he said it out loud.
A long time ago.
He said it before a lot of people knew about this, before I knew about this, for sure. I was probably in diapers or something. But still.
I didn't exist.
So, he was out in front of this. Also with modern-day Venezuela, he was a lot more... he definitely... It sounded like he would understand something like this when he spoke about Venezuela, right? He was a lot more aligned with Tulsi Gabbard when it comes to Venezuela. Maybe not so much in the Middle East, but in Venezuela. Which would bring me to the cons. I'd love to hear this rhetoric in detail about the Middle East. I mean, I know South America is a big issue, and you have immigration, you have the coups, you have the shit like that.
Oh, the history of it all, too. I mean,
But let's be honest, the biggest scope has been the Middle East.
yeah.
That's been the biggest issue when it comes to foreign policy. And I wish he would bring that much detail in that area of the world. Now, the reason he may not be doing that is the same reason why I don't hear him giving speeches like that in today's world. Because it could lead to what happens to Tulsi Gabbard, which is a smearing, which is a you support a dictator type stuff, right? When the U.S. government overthrows a leader of a different country, whether it's directly or by proxy, when they do that, it seems like the memo passed around the offices at the Pentagon is, this was a bad guy and he needed to go. This was a bad guy, he needed to go. Just repeatedly, repeat it until your populace is repeating it as well. So then when you smear someone like Bernie Sanders or Tulsi Gabbard, I don't even think they bother with Mike Gravel, but anyone like that,
very nice not to talk about it.
well, when the news goes out of their way to start smearing those guys, now they have at least sections of the population that agree with them because they've been hearing it on repeat. This was a bad guy. He's killed children. He starved his people.
Yeah.
He chemically attacked his people, and on and so forth. Now, you'll have at least some part of the population agreeing with you. Thus, and then the mainstream media will keep repeating it. And fuck. That's right, we live on this planet. I'm at a loss for words. This is where we live.
I mean, just looking at the history of South America, and you go to the Middle East, and it's just rampant.
Yeah.
Rampant with regime change and this whole idea as far as U.S. intervention and taking out their leaders or interfering in whatever kind of way, whether it be economic warfare or by proxy or directly by invasion.
Everyone's seen the Wesley Clark video. What was it, 7 countries in 5 years or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, look at
It's
this
like,
map. Right
everybody's seen that shit.
here. Look at this map. You know what I mean? Right here.
So this is for me personally, this is like a cross my fingers hope type thing. Because I don't vote. I do not vote.
I won't do it.
Just saying. I'll vote for me, but that's about it. I wouldn't even vote for him. But I'll do it better. I don't care if you have Jesus float down from the sky.
Vote for who?
You.
Oh, well, yeah. You better hope that way. Yeah.
I don't care if Jesus floats down. I'll vote for me. This could be a fake Jesus. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to Bernie Sanders, these are the type. I understand if he wanted to keep it hush hush. I can see I see that fucking spider. I can see I can see a conditioned man who wants to win the right way, which is instead of all out throwing whatever truth bombs, red pills, whatever the fuck you want to call it, just relentlessly, always trying to get the most detailed, most moral answer possible. I understand that, but I can also understand the conditioned man who wants, like, if I say all this stuff, even though I believe it, if I say it out loud, I will have no chance to win. They will turn this around on me. They will turn this into a story of how much I love dictators, or how much I hate America, or how much I love socialism. I know it destroys countries, but I love it anyways. They can turn the story into that.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand someone doing that. That's my take when it comes to Bernie Sanders. Also, he needs to turn this on with the Middle East as well.
Well,
Not enough on the Middle East
this
there.
guy bothered me when he went the whole Assad must go route.
Yeah,
It bothered me, you know.
without evidence. After he voted against the second Iraq war.
Just thinking about it. Oh, about the first one.
Yeah, but we have... Alright, look at it this way. You have someone who fucks up, right?
Yeah.
5 years later, they get it right.
Yeah.
Once you see them get it right, you have some sort of evidence like, oh, maybe they grew up. So now your decisions from then on out should be on point.
I just thought it'd be fair.
You realized they lied to
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
and you voted against it. You had all the... Like, what other reason was there? I mean, you could just be pure anti-war, period, right?
Yeah.
But,
Well, you can be conditioned and believe that because someone throws babies out of incubators, it's right to, you know, go in and get them or something.
and maybe he learned from that.
Yeah.
To
Tsunami,
where...
Kuwait, right there.
Yeah. To where the second Iraq war, he voted against it.
Mm-hmm. I just thought it'd be fair to mention that, that's all.
Yeah.
So,
So when it comes to Syria, he wasn't advocating for bombs or anything,
mm-hmm.
but he said Assad must go.
Well, you don't have to use bombs. You know.
It doesn't necessarily have to be that. It could be negotiated. It could be diplomatic. The problem is he doesn't realize that now, because you have a strong pull and with a lot of people in the country,
Mm-hmm.
when you say Assad must go, Assad's a dictator that must go. Now you're this fucking word that everybody keeps saying, manufacturing consent. Now you're doing that, are you
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
Because now there's some room for justification, as in, oh, these guys do that because he's a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the army went in. They're just a little more, hawkish.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're hawkish, so they're ready to go to war. That's why they went there and took him. But taking him out was the good idea. They just did it the wrong way. And it's like, I can't fuck with that, Bernie. He should have been on the Senate floor, asking for evidence nonstop until you get evidence.
Yeah.
Straight up. Like, I don't think Tulsi went far enough.
I don't think any of them.
Yeah. None of them went far
Anybody I've
enough.
ever seen, nobody ever. Never.
I'm sure there's guys.
I never heard of them.
I'm sure there's guys that we never get to see. They're on, like, C-SPAN, Hour 7.
Maybe.
I'm sure Ron Paul's
In their
have said
position?
something.
In a position like Bernie Sanders or Tulsi Gabbard.
Bernie Sanders, or Ron Paul was in those guys' position.
Did he do enough?
Probably not enough.
Yeah.
But was he saying the right things? That's very possible.
Maybe.
All right. So that's my say. Like I said, I like to pay attention to what people think. The majority, like the overall thought process of the nation.
Like Afghanistan, Pakistan,
Yeah.
Iraq. Iran's like,
Yeah.
fucks on Syria.
So yeah, I like to pay attention to what I believe people, at least the overall majority, what their thought process is when it comes to picking these presidents or senators or whoever. And in their minds, this is like great news to hear this type of video.
Yeah.
And I understand why. I think they should do more work so that it's never in question. Like, oh, will this guy turn on us? If we vote him in, is he going to do what we say? He shouldn't be in question, ever. It should probably be one of you guys, one of the main population guys. But, you know. And I'm not saying Bernie's a bad guy or anything.
Well, I don't know.
I think his intentions are legitimate and genuine. I wouldn't go as far as, like, you know, Ryan Dawson, who's just full-on skeptical of his character. I'm not full-on skeptical of his character. I think his character's alright. But I also think he'll play the political games. And I can understand why. The conditioning, the experiences of being around these people and seeing what they're willing to do to get in places of power. Mm-hmm. He's like, fuck, I gotta bend a little bit just so I can win the presidency, so I can turn it back all around. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, I'm just observing it.
It makes sense.
Alright, anything else to add?
Nope.
Alright. So, yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm. Please subscribe if you like. No solutions here. Just subscribe. Subscribe and donate. Comment, agree, disagree, give us more links. I'd love to see a link to a politician that really nailed it through and through throughout their entire thing of any policy they bring up, anything they vote for. Like, let's find one. That'd be cool. If anyone can find someone like that or close to or who they think is like that, please link that in the description box. We also do video requests. Any topic that we don't deem as absolutely stupid. Donate. Devon's Journey to Recovery. The link is in the description box. The website is in the intro to this video. Click that link. Read the story. Donate some money. It's not for us. It's for charity. So please donate. Devon's Journey to Recovery. GoFundMe link is down there. And with all that said, give this video a thumbs down. My hoarse voice.
Say you wanna get in.